Good Monday, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing? It's been a wonderful Monday. Markets are green. Let's go. We were looking forward for a possible pop on the market. We were talking about it last night, actually, for anyone who tuned in. That's right. We do have Sunday streams too. For anyone who tuned in on Sunday stream last night, we were looking for a possible pop on the market, and we got that pop, and we were able to make a little bit of money making moves off of that move off the market. So let's see if we can continue making those moves for the rest of this week. Sadly, right now though, the earnings movers for today are still a little bit dead. In the morning it was dead. We knew that was gonna happen. Sadly, once again, the afternoon or the aftermarket earnings sessions, once again, a little bit dead. We do have stocks like Rumble, GOEV, Suncor on the list over there. Maybe that's a little bit of movers, but not too much fun. We're still waiting for tomorrow, such as the Home Depots, the Walmarts, the Targets, the rest of the week coming up. So that's where most of the fun is. The retail sales is where all the fun will be for this week on earnings. But still lots of movers to talk about, lots of plays to take a look at, lots of levels to kind of focus on. So why don't we do that? Hopefully you guys all had a great weekend and had a better Monday to start off your week. Let's keep looking for those opportunities in this market, which will go straight ahead to the earnings movers at the moment. I'm watching Rumble, waiting to see how the earnings movers comes out for this one. We do know that they were trying to compete with YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, Kick. For those of you know that new platform Kick over there. I thought somebody was knocking on my door. I apologize. But the new platform Kick coming in to kind of shake up the space. So Rumble over here, right back below its SPAC price right now, trading. I think it was a SPAC if I remember correctly at least. But right back below under $10. And it looks like it was green today, 0.6. But the earnings comes out at 405. It's 402 at the moment. No numbers yet. And I do have Chicken Soup for the Soul. Low volume stock, pretty low price stock also, actually under the dollar stock over here, if I remember correctly, going bankrupt maybe 11%, maybe not going bankrupt, don't quote me on that one, but we do remember trading the stock back in the day for the high short flow percentage. Still that pretty high decent short float, 11%, trading around this $1 area, waiting for this one's earnings mover to come out and see what happens. Looks like Suncor might have come out. Suncor is moving to the north side at the moment, but like I said, a little bit dead on the earnings, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit dead on the earnings. So in that meantime, why don't I show you a trade that I actually took on the day today on the option side, which will be your boy Apple. Shout out to Apple, going up 1 full percent on the day. On last night's stream, we found this article from from TrendSpider about a possible rebound incoming on Apple. Apple has had a monster sell-off off the earnings move over here, all the way back down to this 177, 175 areas. Apparently also broke that RSI 30 area to the downside, and hasn't really done that in a long time for Apple. Apparently, I don't really use RSI to trade, but I was looking at traders point that out in this right here, Apple best week of the year plus RSI below 30. So a couple ideas for a possible long, and this article basically or this tweet basically says that over the last 10 years, week number 33, which is apparently the week we're in right now, is 100% probability that Apple ends up green on this week, and with the average net return of 2.4%. So just off of these couple reasons, I said, I'll wait for Apple to show me some strength off the open. Let's see if that 177 area can hold. And we built in around that 177 right here. Got into some option contracts, looking for that move over the rest of the week to the north side. We'll see what happens. Obviously, they recently gave out their dividend. I probably did cash that dividend then. And I do believe Foxconn, which is Apple's producer, also came out with their earnings report. A little bit of a drop here and there on sales, but overall still above estimates, and we did see those misses come out in Apple's numbers already, and iPhone sales and so on. So makes sense. all in all, we are looking for that bullish move on Apple over here. We've seen this 175 area come into play multiple times. This is the exact same trade that I was talking about on my last night stream on that Sunday prep. So previous 52-week high before Apple started making this crazy move to the north side for the new all-time high run was around this 175 area. So you would expect this 175 area to maybe show a little bit strength. Buyers coming in. It's also the 100 period EMA on the daily chart. So looking for all things to come into play over here to give Apple a little bit of a pop, but not really expecting it to, you know, run back all the way to $200 or so. So we'll have to stay a little bit patient over here on this bad boy. But currently do like the trend the market is showing us, which is to the north side. Rumble, looks like the earnings might not be out. My earnings might not be out yet because Rumble does not show me a move in it at all. It's 405 at the moment, but not seeing any move on Rumble. Let's go to Suncor. Suncor is still dead. GOEV. There's a stock that we remember trading quite a bit. It's a penny stock now, sadly, but no move on this one still. BEEM. This one's a low volume stock, but it is making a nice little pop here in the after hours with the earnings play coming up. BEEM now popping up to $10 from $9.60. Get the likes up, says Souza. Yeah, that'll be great. Get the likes up. Hi, Pratt says cute puppy. What's up? What's up? 497 subs. You know what to do, chat. You know what to do. Get that sub count up to 500. Would appreciate that a lot. Let's get back to a couple of the stocks over here that I have on my watch list while we're waiting for earnings to really come and marinate on the positions. Let's go to today's movers on news, on other catalysts, on stocks that kind of got dumped off or got really bought up based on other catalysts besides earnings. That happened to be AMC. Previously, AMC's catalyst was they're not going to let Ape and AMC merge back together, but now apparently they are going to let that happen. So AMC dropping 30% of the downside, a new 52-week low incoming. Big crazy moves once again on AMC. You know, just when I thought AMC could possibly be worthy enough to buy it as an investment, you just get slapped in the face with the big, you know, no. Just goes to show how much of a wrong move that ape dilution slash preferred shares, whatever that move that Adam Aaron you know, decided to make was just such a bad call. I was not happy with what was going on back then because I know I have a lot of friends in AMC and I knew this is what would kind of play out. Not that I knew 100%, but you kind of have an idea of this is how it would play out, and this is what's happening. So now more dilution coming back into the game for AMC and not looking good for the future. I mean, the business itself is pretty dead if you ask me, right? Everyone just sits at home and wants to watch movies instead of going to theater. It's pretty rare that people want to go to a theater. Kind of like Oppenheimer movies make you want to go to a theater, but overall AMC looks like even more of a dying business now, and more 52 weeks lows incoming. Looking for a possible bounce off of this 52-week low tomorrow, obviously. The last time we saw the stock over here, I think it started making that insane rally to the squeeze directions. We do know that AMC has a strong buyers around these prices. They have that big wall of buying around $3 when that squeeze move started happening, and we're gonna see if those buyers step back in. AMC's previous earnings numbers were also pretty decent, right? They were estimating them loss on earnings per share, but they actually came out with a beat. So all things considered, with this stock now triggering SSR and tomorrow being SSR day 2, I am thinking for a possible long bounce, move all the way back to that $4 area, and giving you at least a decent risk to reward play on it, a 3:1, 4:1, 5:1 type of setup. Just look for where the buying comes in on this position. I think AMC would have traded around 100 million shares today. Yeah, 131 million shares today on AMC. Ape did 124, which is obviously the counterpart we were just talking about, and Ape most likely will just get put right back into AMC. So not sure why this one's getting popped up a little bit, but it's just the overall idea that, hey, AMC, more dilution, more pain if you are an AMC holder and you're looking for that squeeze in the future. You're not getting it at the moment. Just sad on AMC. Let's go to the next stock over here, which is a stock that was first as not getting bought out. U.S. Steels rejects Cleveland Cliffs deal. So because of that rejection of about $7 billion or something, Cleveland Cliffs bid that they put in, they rejected. So Cleveland Cliffs pops up about 8% because obviously they don't have to spend $7 billion to acquire U.S. Steels now. But U.S. Steel originally started off lower on the day off that catalyst, which is X. Later on, however, another catalyst comes out that they're actually going to get bought up for $35 per share, and they have that insane pop up to the north side. So they reject that Cleveland Cliffs deal, and then I guess they accept another deal. They accept Eskmark offer for $35 in cash. So it makes a little bit of a pop over here on US Steel. So tomorrow we might expect the stock to trade a little bit higher, maybe make that slow inch towards that $35 price, as we always see stocks that are getting bought out do that, unless the FTC or the DOJ comes in the way and says, no go, we're going to block that deal. Kind of what's happening with Activision and Microsoft. People in the chat saying Rumble is out. So yeah, baby, there goes Rumble. Now taking out the $9 area, pushing to the north side. Let's go take some look at some of the levels over here on Rumble. This is what I was talking about. Yeah, so if I do remember correctly, it used to be a SPAC. Traded around over here, made that pop. Went back to being a SPAC for a little bit, I guess, because people were wondering what happened. This was probably where's that damn fly? This was probably the whole Spotify, Joe Rogan, what's the word I'm looking for? Signing boost that they got out of it. Then they died back up, and then they finally merged, I guess, became a stock. Over here now you're watching Rumble start making that move back up. We have a solid support around the $750 to $7 area. I'll just say $750 at the moment. Solid support around $750, and a little bit of resistance around this 9, which we clearly just broke past that 9 just now in the after hours. Goddamn fly, get out of here. Just broke past that 9 in the after hours, but right back down to the south side we go. 840. Looking to see how this $9 area plays out tomorrow on Rumble. Not sure how many people even use Rumble. I've seen their interface. Their interface doesn't look that great. Let me turn off my dark reader, and then we'll look at their interface, what their actual interface is. Look, this looks a lot like Twitch.tv, right? A lot like Twitch.tv, which looks a lot like Kick.com. So they actually stole most of it from Twitch. What is going on here, guys? There's anime girls everywhere. Power Slap being streamed illegally, I guess. Or is that no? That's actual Power Slap. Okay, that's actual Power Slap. So I guess Rumble is trying to get traction over here. Also stealing a little bit of a layout from YouTube, obviously. Makes sense. A little bit of a YouTube layout over here. Kick and Twitch basically fighting each other for the live streaming platform. YouTube and Rumble. YouTube has always been in the business for a long time. Rumble coming up over here, growing into that business a little bit, making that pop. Looking for those numbers over here. Let's see what happens. 5 minutes ago, strong quarters. So it looks like they are getting those numbers that I was not expecting them to get. Looking for that active user base. What is this? Revenue increased 468%. Shout out to them. Consistent growth in hours of uploaded video per day. Okay. Average monthly active users of 44 million in the second quarter. Okay, compared to we're consistent with the second quarter, and a slight decline compared to 48 million in the first quarter. Okay, not bad. Slight decline, but not too much of a decline. Okay, not bad. But how much does that really last you, though? I don't know what your burn rate is. Might have to see your balance sheet. Not that I really know how to read balance sheets, all crazy and whatnot, but I would love to see what your burn rate is completely on month by month or year by year rates. But you do have $294 million cash, and would love to see what your debt is too. I would love for someone else to actually just put it in an article for me because I'm lazy. So I'll just wait for CNBC or somebody to come out with an article tomorrow to see exactly how all those variables are going. But at the moment, Rumble, man, Rumble, pulling right back. Now only up 0.12%. We did break 9. We went up 920, but looks like we're selling off over here. The market not liking what's going on at the moment with Rumble, I guess. Power Slap is so whack, says Mitchell. Yeah, Power Slap do be whack. I can't watch it. I don't know how people do. I can't watch it. If people do like it, though, shout out to them. I just can't do it. My GF likes the right-wing conspiracies. Rumble is good at that. Okay. I have nothing to say about politics, man. I don't got nothing to say about politics. I'll just leave that up to the politicians. I'll move on to the next topic over here and try to evade and skirt through this topic over here. Go to the next one. Let's talk about NVIDIA. What a monster move on the semiconductor sector today. 7% on NVIDIA. How many shorts got their back absolutely blown out today on NVIDIA is the question I want to see. And look at the levels that Pratty Daddy nailed. Boom. Kind of nailed that one. I guess it's a zone, right? Whenever you don't nail a level, it's always a zone. And then when you nail it, you're Prastradamus. You are an absolute genius. That's how all traders do it too, right? So I'm just gonna join that party. So nail that level. This is an area. Nail that level over here near 430, 439.50, 440 or so. Monster levels. Monster move on semiconductor. Period. Look at Micron. Micron moved from 64 to like 68 today. Insane move, and we've seen the 64 level come into play a lot in the past. Once, twice, thrice. Cuatro, penta, seto. I don't know if that's a word, but look how many times the 64 levels comes into play over here for Micron. And the fact that I missed this long on Micron today was so upsetting, because at any point you could have just, bought options, gone long, whatever it is, give it that risk up to $64 to the downside, and your reward was just immense. Like, oh man, beautiful move on semiconductor. I love it. I'm just in shock. AMD with 4% move on it too. We were all screaming doomsday on AMD. AMD actually bouncing wonderfully off that 100 period EMA, moving back into this range that we've consolidated in for the last few months or so. That's exactly what I want to see AMD do, being an AMD investor. So shout out to my boy AMD. Shout out to the semiconductor industry. But now the question is, what might happen tomorrow? With this monster of a move, without any catalyst that I actually found for myself, didn't really see any real catalyst. How can we... do we expect a bigger move tomorrow? Does the market keep ripping up? QQQ had a quadruple top at one point. QQQ ended up 1.12%. Let's go QQQs. But here's a quadruple top. Finally actually took out that top into the close of the market over here. Okay, not bad at all. Took out that quad top. When we actually closed a little bit higher, ended up 1 Market wants to still continue going higher, which is obviously a great thing. S&P 500 also broke out that triple top or so, and now it wants to go a little bit lower, but we'll leave that one alone. We'll see how that one moves around. But with the overall move that the semiconductors gave you today, let's just go to the ETF instead. SOXX. How much more move do you expect this ETF to kind of really move tomorrow? I think we might see a little bit of a sell-off in the ETF sector, but I hope not. Honestly, I hope I'm wrong. But hope has nothing to do in this game, right? Hope has nothing to do in this game. At the end of the day, just play the levels and play the variables that the market gives you. That 440 level is pretty damn obvious on NVIDIA. Look out for, possible rejections off that 440. A breakout of 440. You're looking for more moves up north. I personally am looking for, a trap somewhere around this area. That 440 breakout, that 445 breakout, and then it starts trapping those longs. It starts pulling back down for a drastic pullback. So that's what I'm looking for. This stock did not test VWAP at any time today. That's insane. Absolute insane. We'll see what happens. Great show, Pratt. Gave you a like. Thank you, John Van Sowers. I love I won't even try because I'll screw it up. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So Big move to the north side, but I'm thinking we get some south side moves tomorrow, setting up on the semiconductor sector. At least a little bit of a move to the downside. Look for supports maybe coming in around this 435 area, 430 to 435. And if the stock does want to keep ripping up, which I'll be surprised, just join that party and don't try to fight it. Trend is your friend. At the end of the day, if you just follow that one idea of trend is your friend, you won't get hurt. NVTS is a semiconductor stock that had earnings today after hours and looks like positive earnings, popped up 6.39%. Very, very small. Well, their market cap is 1.4 billion. What is NVIDIA? It's like multi-billion, right? 1 trillion. Never mind. 1 trillion. That's right. They recently got to that 1 trillion after making that new all-time high. I forgot. 180 billion over here for AMD. NVTS only 1 billion. So pretty small. Not the biggest of the companies. What is ON and Micron? ON 41 billion. Micron sitting at 74 billion. So you see the numbers of the market capitalization NVTS has compared to the market giants over there. Intel 149 billion. All right, cool. NVTS still at the end of the day a semiconductor stock, and took advantage of the semiconductor move today, moved up 3%, and with the earnings move at the moment moving up another 6%. Average volume pretty light, only 10 million shares. Maybe with the earnings play coming into play and with the overall semiconductor bump that the stocks had today, maybe the stock can bring in some volume for us to take a look at tomorrow. And this range though, not the most exciting of the ranges to look at. On earnings, you want to see the stock kind of pushing those higher end of the ranges. I would like to see how the stock trades at this $10-11 area. I think if we do get that break of 950, 930 is the 50 period EMA on the daily chart. If we do get that break of 930 to 950, I think we can go test 10 and then start testing the higher end of these ranges. 52-week high setting at 1117 right before earnings on NVTS. Okay, let's go to Palantir. We talked about Palantir possibly holding 15. It did that successfully. Shout out to anyone who actually took that long off of Palantir. Here's that trade right here. Breaks slightly below 15, goes down to 14.95, rips up to the north side. I was a little slow on getting my options call on the break of 15 over there, but I was looking at it, if I was still at a prop firm at the moment, I would have taken that long. Missed out on that position. Maybe I could have taken it on my swing trade account, which I don't really have one. It would just be my long-term account, just turning into a little bit of a swing trade over there. But Palantir, beautiful fail break of 15 to the downside, trapping those longs and pushing right back to the upside. Trapping those shorts and pushing right back to the upside. We were looking for that $11 area, $15 area to hold, and it did so successfully. But now the question is, what happens when we push back to that $17 area on Palantir, which has shown us resistance before, and then support for a little bit, and then resistance now most likely to be coming in and expected at the very least. Palantir today though, up 2.01% overall, making that 31-cent move from Friday's close, which makes me happy. Let's go Palantir. Let's go to Penn National Gaming. The stock did give up the overall move that it got from ESPN Disney Catalyst. This was the earnings day, and the catalyst dropped at the same day. They gave it all back and pushed to pretty much the lows of the ranges, the 52-week lows, and bouncing off the 52-week lows near the triple bottom is the play that's being offered at the moment by the stock market gods. So watch out for supports being built around this $23 area on Penn National. We're now looking for that move right back to the 50 period, 100 period EMAs, both of them which are around $26, let's say. I'm just bringing them one up and one down, both of them evening out at near $26. Watch for that move to come out for PE, and then obviously that catalyst is very bullish. Penn is going to make a lot of money off this catalyst, and I'll be surprised if ESPN doesn't extend their deal with them. Gaming doesn't need ESPN. It has a nice dividend, yeah, but it's going to allow them to get a lot more market share that they previously don't have because of DKNG FanDuel. DKNG and FanDuel is just too big for them to compete at the moment. They're not getting that customers as good as the other gambling websites are. So ESPN Bet is going to really help them out. Let's see how much will it help them out overall. I am bearish about the deal, I'll be honest, because I'm not a fan of ESPN, but Penn National, overall, they're looking to make profit off of that deal. Today, though, they made a 5% bounce, 6% bounce almost off that triple bottom near $23. So that's a positive indication over here. But overall, you would expect the stock to maybe hold up in the higher end of the ranges after making that move up already. Why did we give up the whole move down and almost look like we were about to go make a new 52-week low? So a little bit of a question mark obviously coming into play over here on Penn. At the moment, I am liking the move off the hold of 23, like I said earlier. At the same time, while we are looking at Penn, let's go to Disney, because obviously ESPN, Disney is part of that deal. Disney looked like it was going to, make that move to the north side, but then the earnings coming out and hurting them. Disney Plus numbers not looking good. 52-week low is actually, if you zoom back, COVID lows. Right? We're not that far from COVID lows over here on Disney. So I'm expecting buyers to start stepping in on Disney. Yeah, we still got that possible, Hollywood strike that's happening and everything that's being talked about against Bob Iger. Bob Iger, we're not going to let you use AI and use our image and however you want and so on. I actually agree. But we'll see what happens. Who comes out victorious? Overall, at the moment, Disney hurt and still not getting ready for that investment for me. As I said, I'm waiting for Disney to turn that dividend machine back on for me to really start caring about investing in Disney. I personally am not a big Disney fan, never been a big Disney fan, not a Marvel fan either, so it doesn't really excite me being an investor at Disney. So I'm waiting for all the right reasons, all the bells to ring, and all the check marks to be boxed, and then only will I pull that trigger. DKNG, which is the stock that might get hurt from this whole ordeal that's happening with the Penn National, Disney, ESPN, and so on. With this DKNG, if they do end up losing market share, which they have spent a lot of money for. They spent a lot of money on trying to acquire this customer, and if they start losing that customer for free, then that's not a good look on DKNG, obviously. So DKNG pulling back to my average price on the long term, and slightly bouncing off my average price. Let's see if the stock can get back above $30 and show us some strength on there or not. Rekka saying DC gang for life. Never, ever Marvel. DC is where the real animation is. DKNG, I think the next one is Roblox. Yeah, Roblox and UPST. Yeah, I know. You guys are going to say, Prad, you're still stuck on Roblox? I know. I'm still stuck on Roblox. Hey, look, it actually gave you that pop today, right? It was below 29, sorry, it was below 30. It opened up below 30, trades below 30, and actually manages to get above 30 today. Gives you that pop up to $31, but still struggling after its earnings move, pushing the downside, and now we're kind of consolidating sideways around this $30 area. Waiting to see if buyers can step in. 52-week low near 25. We could see the stock push to 25. Waiting to see if selling will trigger back on around these ranges so I can buy some puts for Roblox, send it to the downside to the $25, or will I then buy some calls on the breakout of this range for the north side for a possible gap closer, or for a possible move into the next ranges over here. At the moment, I am trying out options. I'm having fun with it. I think my first 2-3 trades were all losses on options. I'm having a lot of fun trying to learn options over here, honestly. And I can't wait to get back to prop trading, which I believe will be in September 1st. September 1st, I'll be back to prop trading. If all things work. If all things work and people don't hate me and they allow me to go back to trading, then yeah, we'll get back to that one. But for now, I'm having fun with the options. We lost on Roblox trade options. We lost on Upstart too. Upstart was a little bit right? It's still getting rejected by that 35. So that overall idea that we were, trying for that SSR bounce did not really work out. But right now, that overall 35 level coming into play again and again and again. So looking for not Roblox, Upstart to show us some support, show us an area to get above 35 over here, so we can look for that level to burst, take that long through 35, and maybe see that 40 coming into play. I mean, this stock is a highly shorted stock. If I remember correctly, this is like a 20-30% high short flow. Let's go check out, where's flow checker, FC confirm resubmission. Money Mitch here, excited to tune in for my first show. I have a swing on Penn, and I also like it at 23.86 average entry. Hey, Benzinga. Hey, shout out to Benzinga. I have used your software for a little while when I used to work for Trader TV Live. So yeah, we love your software. Shout out to Benzinga over there. I'm actually surprised you're here watching me. Shout out to you guys. Average entry 23.86. Let's go take a look at that. Yeah, I mean, look, we were just talking about the $23 holding, and Money Mitch over here talks about 23.86. I mean, it makes even more sense. You have that about 80 cent, maybe slippage, give it an extra 20-30 cents over there, depending on how much size you're taking. Obviously, if you're taking millions and millions of shares, then you're getting slipped a lot more than 20 cents. But I'm just guessing over here on the break of 23. You're maybe $1 risk over here overall, and your reward is multiple dollars to the upside, depending on what your time frame is, obviously. So I do like that play. I am looking forward to seeing where Penn ends up going, and the earnings numbers were good. And the deal also looks strong in my opinion, so I am looking forward for that one. Let's go see, where was the stock that I was gonna talk about? I think it was Upstart, right? I think it was Upstart. Yeah, Upstart, looking for that $35 break. And if it does pop above that, I'll be very excited with that one. Let's see what chat wants. Chat wants thoughts on AMD. Chat wants Shopify. I'll go to Shopify since we already talked about AMD earlier in the day. I think AMD is going to sell off, honestly, tomorrow. I mean, this move on the semiconductor sector was monstrous. NVIDIA up 7%. This is a $1 trillion company. This is not like a short squeeze stock. It's a $1 trillion company moving 7%. Micron went insane today too. So I'm expecting a little bit of a sell-off to happen tomorrow. I'm not trying to be overly bearish. I'm just expecting it. But coming to Shopify over here, our friend Maurice, Guillermo Maurice, or that's not Guillermo, but Gualami. I love the name, man. The name is sick. Maurice coming in talking about Shopify, a Canadian stock. I loved looking at Shopify all the time. Rest in peace to the days when Shopify used to be $1,000 stocks on the Canadian Stock Exchange or the Toronto Stock Exchange. Those were the good days. Now, apparently I have some levels already mapped out over here on Shopify. I'm looking at some of these ranges over here. Why am I interested in this zone? Not sure why I'm interested in this zone, but looks like that zone did end up holding after making that earnings gap up. We are now pulling back to that earnings gap low. So let's see if these areas show us some support. If these areas give up the ghost, obviously, if 54 breaks, then we have that gap fill to the downside. There is a hidden rule in the stock market. It's not 100% rule that this has to play out, but there's a hidden rule in the stock market that gaps have to get filled. Not have to, but gaps can get filled, right? They can get filled. So looking for that possible breakout of 54 over here. If 54 breaks, we can look for that move down to $47 or even $50 to see some support on the downside. We are seeing the stock obviously show supply again on these northern side of the ranges over here. These are the ranges the stock has been in March of 2022. So these areas showing us obvious supply opening up and demand not wanting to punch those highs. 52-week high range, a new 52-week high coming in at 71.43. Sorry. At 71.43 at the moment, and this 54 area looks very, very interesting to me. Looks like we actually keep trying to bounce off of this 55, 54 ranges so far. Today, what's the low today? 54.38. I like it. Looking to see what happens on Shopify over here. You're awesome, Prad. Love the realness. Thank you, sir. Shop interesting rejection of the gap zone. Amazon getting stronger. AMZN. That would be me overly bearish. Nah, shush, TH. Amazon, obviously, we got that OB stock. We love OB. I actually miss OB, man. Shout out to OB. Let's see what's going on with Amazon over here. I haven't looked at Amazon in a while. Where is this trend line even going to? We'll delete that trend line. This is where I am long on Amazon. Anytime you see an orange line on my stocks, on my chart, that's where my average price is on my long-term account, my whole 2 shares. Right, but we're loving it. We're loving the fact that we bought it around these areas for Amazon. It is pushing up. I mean, no complaints. Their earnings numbers were absolute bonkers earnings report. They look like they wanted to close that gap, but support coming back in around this 136 135 area, pushing back to 140. I actually remember trading that 140 breakout. No, it was the 142 breakout. So let's zoom into the 5-minute chart here. It was this 142 breakout somewhere right here, which gave us that move, and then the stock just died since then. So ever since then, I kind of got turned off on the stock. So now we're looking at this 140 area. Wait and see how obviously the stock trades at 140, 141, and 142. Every even dollar price, you might see some heavy size on there. If we do get that breakout of those sizes, or breakdown, or fail break of those levels, you can look for a clean short through that. I mean, you saw that happening around this 143 area somewhat. But overall, I would not fight Bezos. I would not fight Bezos because that man clearly does not lose ever. Amazon, beautiful earnings report coming in. I mean, I think people said it was the best ever Prime Day deal ever. The one recently that came out. I disagree. I'm sorry, but I disagree. I saw nothing good on that Prime Day for myself. But people did. A lot of people talked about it. So don't fight the trend. Your trend is your friend. I also want to quickly go to PayPal because PayPal got a new CEO, I believe. That was the catalyst, which took the stock up 2.81%. The earnings move absolutely destroyed PayPal. I think I'm invested in PayPal right here at $119. So it's nice to show you that I'm invested in Amazon over here, but I gotta show you that I'm also invested in PayPal at $119, sadly. Bag holding, never selling. I'm never selling. Right, bag holding at the moment, waiting for the stock to break me even and then see what happens. The 52-week low coming back into play somewhat, but we are bouncing right before the 52-week low at the moment, and maybe this new CEO catalyst helps out PayPal with a tiny bounce in coming into it. But if that CEO catalyst doesn't help it, then I don't know what will, and I'm still waiting to see if that 52-week low comes into play. PayPal just has been struggling every single day. For those of you who do care, though, about streaming, Kick is now including PayPal as a payment method. So if you are a streamer, or if you wanted to be a streamer, such as myself that I'm doing right now, you could stream on Kick and you can use PayPal as a payment method. Just another way for people to get cashed out on that platform, basically. So this was the Apple trade that we talked about earlier. I'll just highlight it again. On the 33rd week, for the last 10 years, Apple has had 100% green move with an average return of 2.4%. So just based off those numbers right there, I am very, very bullish on Apple, and also Apple recently triggering that new low RSI. I want to give a shout out to my friend Michael Noss for hooking me up with these platforms known as, obviously, Trade Ideas, and also beautiful trade ideas being mentioned by our friend Michael Noss every single day on Twitter. Go give him a follow. I found some good levels over here, some good ideas. So I wanna highlight my friends over here. Pinterest looks like he has an alert somewhere around $26. We're stealing his alert. $26 alert, and the average anchored VWAP, the anchored VWAP from the lows of May is currently where Pinterest is holding up at, and we're looking to see how this $26 area plays out. Did it come into play today for Pinterest? Looks like it kind of did. We're up 1.4%. We moved back into some of these ranges that I have drawn are so old, I might have to start repainting some of these stocks. I haven't traded them in so long. But Pinterest over here, as you guys can see, holding that 25, 26 area and moving back up north. Looks like Michael Noss once again nailing that idea that anchored VWAP is showing you strength. Another stock that's showing you strength off of anchored VWAP off of the May lows is SoFi. Previously also earnings play. Pretty strong earnings play, and we keep having that Biden student grant play always coming into equation over here for SoFi. So a little bit of a whipsaw catalyst play obviously coming in. Overall, I am happy seeing that SoFi is, you know, not completely giving up the move. We are looking for supports coming back in around this $8 move at the moment. Low day 836. I'm expecting maybe we see 8 come back into play, which is right around this 100 period EMA, show us some support around 8, and then make that move back up north. But that would be a little bit lower than where the anchored VWAP is, right? So maybe I am wrong, as anchored VWAP is coming in to hold up as buyers. Why anchored VWAP, you might ask? It's just a different way to look at the volume weighted price. You know, if you anchor it off of earnings, you kind of have a whole different idea of where you're looking at too. It's based off of the time frame that you're looking at and more recent information. So if you anchor it off of earnings, you might see a little bit of a complete different indication. You might see anchored VWAP on the upper branch, on the upper side of SoFi over here, showing you resistance where you can short off of, and where you know, big institutions or big hedge funds are actually shorting SoFi off of. This shows you where SoFi is possibly getting bought up off of ever since making that 52-week low, or ever since making that all-time low. So it all depends on what time frame you're looking at, on what scale you're looking at. So this right here, being not the 52-week low, but pretty close to being the 52-week low, is where our friend Michael Noss has anchored it from, to see where the buyers could come in, and he's identifying buyers currently pulling in at that anchored VWAP positioning for SoFi. Last but not least, the same thing again on GLD. Gold apparently showing you a lot of buyers, actually showing up every time at the anchored VWAP. So shout out to the anchored VWAP book. I believe Alpha Trends, Brian Shannon, was a great book to read over there. Benzinga Trader Prad likes his tabs, says Jiggly Buns. Love the username, and you are correct. I do love my tabs. I always have a million of them. Always have a million of them. Let's quickly go to my man. Smash that F11 so you don't get rid of that Chrome. F11. Fair. The full screen button. Yeah. I like my tabs. The tabs are the best part because it gives the chat something to chirp me about. I love the tabs. The next stock over here, I mean, I pretty much have gone through everything I want to talk about. Maybe we pull back to oh, there's a sector that I actually did not attack yet, which I want to talk about. What is this? What is that? Can I see that again? How did that happen? What? Trading View? I want to see that again. What happened over there? That was hilarious. Trading View trolling me. Overall, what's going on with Tesla is what I want to talk about. Tesla, sadly, another price reductions for their cars and pushing more to the downside. But I did notice that Tesla had about 9 Cybertrucks ready at their Gigafactory in Texas. I think it's Texas. But they had 9 Cybertrucks ready for outbound delivery section, whatever they want to call it. So overall, that bad boy looks like they're getting ready to push that car out, and we might see more and more of those Cybertrucks out on the street. Tesla, sadly, price cuts coming in, and we've seen what happens with the recent price cuts they've had. Big drop in operating margins. I think their biggest cut in operating margins came in recently. I mean, what do you expect, right? You're cutting prices and you expect them to make more money? Doesn't work that way. So obviously, exactly how we expected that numbers to come out. I wasn't shocked by those numbers. I was shocked by the way the market, perceived those numbers, they're like, oh, the worst number ever. I was like, come on, dude, we knew that was gonna happen. We knew that was the case. So why are we getting so shocked about it? At the end of the day, the market will always be more irrational than you can stay solvent. Your job is to manage risk and not wanting to be right all the time. So manage that risk. I let go of my idea. I let go of my thesis. Stop looking for that longs, and I just let that stock trade out. Now we're waiting to see what happens around this previous supply zone, bringing the stock down, establishing a demand around that 100 area, a supply opening back over here, demand kind of showing you power, taking us through all of this supply, showing you now the demand is overbearing than the supply is currently there, and pushing us to the new areas over here, almost near the 52-week high ranges, almost. So the question is, do we see buying coming in at these prices? You would expect buying to start rolling back in at these higher prices now instead of these same prices. Let's actually also go to Tesla on the daily chart and put in the anchor VWAP ourselves from, what are these lows? The January lows, I guess? The January lows, no, that's not the January lows, but you guys get the idea. The January lows, pushing it over here, and that's what I was talking about. Looking for buyers to step in around these prices, that 200, 230, 240. If buyers don't show up, I will be very surprised to see what the future is for Tesla over here. I would not want to see the stock actually go back to 200. I think the way that this stock put the line over there at 200, does that mean there's more downside over here? At the moment, let's see that the 100 period EMA holding as support. I'm looking for these highs come in as support too. Fingers crossed. I would not like Tesla to give up the ghost that badly, but overall, the tech sector did come back to a 15,000. We saw NASDAQ pull back to 15,000 today, and bounce off of that 15K to 15,270 at the moment. We also saw S&P 500 have a nice little green rally in it, but we got, resistance to the upside. We still got some economic calendar events coming out. Let's go take a quick look at all the earnings movers tomorrow. Pre-market, HD, SE, which is a gaming company, and Tencent Music. I guess Tencent Music not really that traded, but HD, Home Depot. This is where earnings stocks now start getting spicy for us. Monday, boring. Friday, meh. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, spicy. We got Home Depot, we got Target, Walmart, every single big retail stock before open on 3 back-to-back days. And then after hours, we got some companies here and there, a recent IPO, Kava. We got Chinese sector, JD, TJX, Tencent Music, and then Tencent separately. I think this one's actually on the OTC market. Just so you know, that one's on the OTC market. And then Cisco, internet company over there. We've seen Net. That one kind of moved a little bit crazily recently when that one announced earnings. I love earnings season, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to see what will happen. JD will beat, says Dave. Okay, bullish indeed. Keep in mind though, if you are trading these retail stocks, guys, that retail numbers are also coming out this week, which is a pretty decent economic number. Come on, don't lag me out. It's actually tomorrow. Retail numbers come out tomorrow at 8:30, along with import-export numbers. Import-export numbers not really that important. Core retail and retail sales for the month of July will be coming out at 8:30. At the same time, Home Depot is announcing earnings, so you might see an exponential move on Home Depot to the upside or to the downside, depending on obviously how these numbers come out and how Home Depot announces their earnings. So let's go take a quick look at what the options expected implied volatility move is for Home Depot. This one is from our friends at Options AI, and they're expecting a move of about 3.2%, a drop down to 319.45, or a pop up to 340.45. I think we might see an even bigger move than 3.2%, honestly, because they're not considering the retail number coming out. The retail number will be a little bit added sauce to the flavor over here for the trade, in my opinion. So watch out for what happens on Home Depot tomorrow at 8:30. A lot of levels obviously to look out for. I think Home Depot was previously at all-time high like Walmart. No, Walmart is at all-time high though, which is obviously very insane. Walmart is at all-time high right before going into earnings. Home Depot pretty close to all-time highs, not really there just yet, but we got levels to the upside. That 340 area is what they were expecting, and I have a level and a line already at 340. So looking to see what happens. 340, 350, 345. Obviously with the $300 stock, if there is no volume, the spread might be nasty, so be careful. But with earnings, I'm expecting good liquidity and not trash liquidity. Once again, X is getting bought out for $35 per share for those of you interested in the buyout trade over there. We are still looking to see how Rivian, SoFi, and the EV sector NIO plays out. XPeng has earnings Friday, so still got a lot of hope for EV sector trades coming up in the next few weeks. Next few days, sorry. Tesla bringing in catalysts every single day for us to trade off of, so that's a positive thing. No dead trades in the EV space, still bringing in about 100 million shares to trade over there for us to take advantage of. AMC and Apto stole the show today with 100 million shares each. No other stock really came close to that except for obviously the buyout stock, which is X. Stocks that pushed down on the day, Hawaiian Electric. I do want to say, before I say anything forward about Hawaiian stocks, I want to take a second to pray for all the lives that are affected, pray for all the families that are affected in Hawaii. Those scenes of fires are absolutely insane, nasty scenes of fires, and I'm actually waiting to see when I will be able to monetize the streams. That way I could actually do a charity stream for Hawaii. My first ever monetization stream, I wanted to go to Hawaii because man, it's not going to be a lot of money obviously. I'm a small streamer, but I wanted to go to Hawaii because this is absolutely insane. And not only are they losing forestry and everything, they're losing lives, and food's getting affected. People are not getting the help that they need. It's just sad over there. But this just adds on to the sadness over here, that now the stocks are getting hurt in the Hawaiian industries. We were actually talking about this in the Discord call today. Do ! Discord if you want to join us in the morning calls that we sit in. Some people were saying it was hurting their moral compass to even take into a short position. And I agree, man. It does hurt to even profit off of something so bad. But, there's a trade there. If you are looking for a trade, there's a trade there. I shout out to anybody who said that, they cannot take that trade just for their moral compass. I praise you. There are trades here though for anyone who's interested. I think that's all I wanted to do, is point it out to that. Oddity Tech down 11% today with a very light volume, so maybe not going to look at things. If I remember correctly, this was a recent IPO also, so not really too worried about it. ODD, and that's a wrap with that one. We looked at this one. Is there any IPOs coming out? Let's go take a look at that. No real IPOs at the moment, sadly. It's still dead IPO market. I'm looking to see what happens with that Reddit IPO. Why did I say Rivian IPO? Reddit IPO, which is still not has yet come out yet, and I don't think they're going to at this moment. I don't think they're going to. So, waiting to see how that one plays out. Let's filter this one real quick. See if any stocks moved around with actual volume in the after hours. No real volume coming in. NVTS 7%. That's a semiconductor stock. We talked about that one. Lots of earning plays over here, but very light volume. Dead. But here's the stocks that actually moved around with volume, and let's see if anything moved around with a lot of percentage. Looks like SONM moved around with 1 million shares and went up 32.4%. It's a penny stock, 73-cent stock. So some of you penny stock traders might want to keep that one on your watch list. Besides that, I'm not really seeing anything. TSHA was in play today. That one did close above $2 in the after hours, so that one's trying to still continue making moves. So maybe you want to continue having this one on your watch list, but I'm looking at this 250 area for a possible rejection. I mean, look at that resistance at that 250, looking to see if the stock can get above 250. If it can, then you possibly have more squeezes over here. If not, then possible rejection off of 250. Let's, last but not least, go look at what this one's short float is. That's the wrong website. TSHA, 2%, so not even a high short float. Then I'm guessing it's just some sort of a biotech company with the biotech catalyst that had earnings today. Did not miss on revenue at all, was absolutely in line in revenue, but missed earnings per share. But I'm guessing they guided better, and that brought in the pop for Taysha Gene Therapies. Shout out to Taysha. All right, that's pretty much all the stocks that I wanted to go over. We went over the AMC Ape stuff, Apple, why I am bullish about Apple coming into this week over here, XLF and X. CLF, which is Cleveland Cliffs, and X getting bought up for $35, not by CLF. The monster move on NVIDIA and AMD and Micron, the semiconductor sector. How I think tomorrow might be a little bit of a sell-off on the semiconductor sector because of the monster move they had. Penn National Gaming 23 area looking muy caliente, muy solid. We also had Money Mitch from Benzinga in here just now talking about how they are looking at the 2380 area for a possible buy. So even more confluence, more traders looking at the same level gives you a better idea of why that level might actually work at that point, right? So Penn National Gaming, Disney, I'm not still very bullish on it, but I'm looking to see how that COVID lows hold up on Disney. Upstart, Roblox, if Upstart can get above 35, looking for that long past Upstart on the 35 area, and Roblox looking for Roblox to hold 30. These are the levels that I'm interested in tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. And if Rumble can bring some rumble in the jungle, then I am ready to strap on the gloves and go to war in that ring, baby. So let's see if Rumble can bring in that war for us. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do. Have a great rest of your day. I will be back here again 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time talking about more market and more earnings plays, as we have some of the fine hot retail earnings plays coming out tomorrow. Until then, and good luck on the stock market. Peace.